Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank you for joining me on this momentous occasion. Welcome to the instrumental ramblings of a 17-year-old. With me, your host, Enzoko. Today we have a special piece with us on our show today, and it is this baby guitar, which has once been on our show last year, but has recently gone through a massive change in its appearance. In fact, this thing used to be some multiple shades of some kind of sunburst. There wasn't even a sunburst. I do not remember what it looked like before. However, what I can tell you is how quote unquote nice it looks like now. And that is mainly because of its new strings, which are nylon. Its newly painted satin kind of finish, at least satin attempted finish of some shade of blue for both the top of the body and top of the headstock, and a nice resounding brown for the rest of the body, the fretboard, and anything else that might have been painted. A lot of masking tape has been used in the process so that we could keep the binding from the original paint job, and it was done in a manner that was both very amateurish and as to the best of my ability. That's what I'm trying to say here. These tuners are Music Lily. As you can see, they aren't individual tuner pieces, but rather 3 in a line per side, and I have no idea how to go about it. How to go about that? And on the side of the fretboard, side of the neck rather, you can clearly see some tape fret markers. Right, very nice. Helps you figure out where you're going while you're playing. And because of the way that they were cut and the way that they were placed on, they even continue on to the actual face of the fretboard. So a beginner could look over, not too much, just enough so that they can see where they are playing. They don't have to do this every single time that they would wish to know where their hands are, you know? So yeah, back to the non-formal speak, because why am I doing this? And making it sound like an ad for a new product, yeah. So last time you guys saw this was last year. It was unpainted. I still had steel strings. I don't think the tuners were these ones yet. They might have been, and then I replaced them on again. I last showed this thing in progress in the background of one of my videos, where I just left it there to sorry, excuse the Filipino word, to kind of hint at the fact that this thing has been kind of finished, and I'm like, might as well finally show it now that it's done. So let's play a few things, right? Let's play a few chords just to see if this sounds nice. So let's start off with an E. Now let's try another chord. Let's start off with a D major 7. And now for a scale of some sort. If I can even get it right. Excuse me. So that's how it sounds. I don't know how well my earpods can pick it up. But there are a number of things that I would like to touch on, mainly because of the fact that this is the first guitar I've ever worked on, both as an art project of some sort and as an actual setup kind of attempt. So, number one, this thing used to be strung with steel strings, as I said in the intro, I think. And there is one major problem with having steel strings on a guitar, not only this small, but on a guitar this weak and this cheap. When I say cheap, I mean to say that it wasn't necessarily built with longevity in mind, probably. It was maybe built to just sell quick and then, get out of whatever store it was formerly placed in. Now, that would entail, I think at least, that it does not have a truss rod. And a truss rod is a long, I guess you call it the metal stick that is typically inside of a guitar's neck to keep it straight despite all of the tension from the strings and maybe changes in weather that might affect the wood, right? Now, this did not have that. Normally, if something has steel strings, you're supposed to have a truss rod because, steel is a very strong material. With the amount of tension that's being pulled on by the fact that this, there's 2 points of tension here, and the strings are pulling something forward, it might mess up the neck, and that's why the truss rod is there to keep that in place. Now, on the other hand, nylon guitars historically do not have a truss rod. Classical, did I say classical or nylon? Either way, nylon strung guitars. So I thought if I wanted to make sure that this thing would survive long enough, I would string it with nylon string. So here we go now. Everything strung through the bridge. Right here at the bottom, you have a saddle of some sort, and then the nut here. Now, as you can see, it was strung very well, but as you can hear, that's not in tune. And I assure you, I have tuned this thing multiple times before pressing record on this thing, and it will not stay in tune. So that's where my second problem comes into intonation. I am not a luthier. I am not a guitar professional. Heck, I can't even play past, 10 chords maybe, and maybe a few scales. So I am clearly inexperienced as both a player and an actual, guitar builder. I didn't build this. I just modified. Modified it is even a generous word. That said, I can tell that this is not in tune. Like anyone, this sounds off. I've been tuning it so much and it still won't stay in tune. And maybe you can attribute that to the way the saddle and the nut were, positioned. I did not do them right, probably, especially as I have no experience. So, I just did the best I could based on what guitars I currently had. I looked at photos online just to get a reference, but obviously because I don't know what I'm doing, I don't have very secure measurements. So, best guess. Third thing, in regards to those same pieces, the saddle and the nut, the action is high. That is to say, the space off of the fretboard and the string is terribly high, and it's very annoying to play. So just simply playing a simple chord like the E chord will cost you a lot of energy just to press down, because if you do this, it still works, but you have to put a lot of effort because of the fact that, it's a high action. That's typically not what you want on a guitar meant for kids or for beginners. And in this case, my intention was to make not only, a prop guitar, but something that could be playable if need be. And this will get annoying really quickly, right? But that's out of my control. No, it's not. I could get some sandpaper and just work on it a little bit more, but I don't have the time for that because I am soon to be squandered by schoolwork. So let's see what happens, right? So, I put fret markers because I wasn't able. I put fret markers as fret tape. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I did that instead of putting painting markers on because I did not have the time, and I thought, hey, it gets the job done. Why worry, right? Same thing goes for the back of the neck. As you can see here at the back, I kind of made some problems with how I was dealing with the sandpaper or making the thing feel satin or feel dry instead of gloopy and glossy. You know that feeling? If you look at this in the light, it's shining, but not to the extent that I don't know, a glass of water would in the light. That's definitely glossy. That's definitely shiny. That's the kind of thing you don't want if you want to have a smooth feeling experience, because that way your hand doesn't, I don't know if you can hear this, but that's my hand sliding. You hear those farting noises? That's the friction. On a gloss guitar, that'll be worse. At least this one with solely my palm, I can do that too. And see, it's like a weird double. That's a cardboard box. That's what it sounds like. So playability wise, I think the only good thing out of everything would be the tuners. I think I got these from Music Lily. I probably said that in the last video as well regarding this guitar's progress, or at least what I intended to do with it. And the main issue is that the holes for the pegs were not put in the right place. So unless you look at it without the shadows and like looked at it solely from I don't know if this fits in the camera. They're not parallel and it messes with my head. Sorry, not parallel. They're not symmetric and that messes with my head. But I can't do anything about it because I didn't build this guitar. I can't do anything about it. So you know, at the end of the day, this is an art project. I think I will eventually maybe I'll hang this on my wall. We'll see how that goes. Or if not, I might just give this away to someone as like a gift of some sort. And I'm thinking that's where that ends, right? So, after a year of work, a lot of cramming, a lot of planning, and ultimately a very bad final process. Or, if you think it's nice, thank you, but I personally hate this thing. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that this might have inspired you to do something of your own to your own guitar. Hopefully not destroy it and just make it nice so that you would enjoy playing it more, or at least so that you would enjoy looking at it if you're not going to play it like I do. So, I don't know what else to say. I didn't exactly plan out this video. I just decided, oh, look, I'm going to make a video real quick and maybe try out a new angle just to see how this goes, right? So, I am open to answering any questions you guys may have about how I did the process in the comments down below. Feel free to ask anything. I'm willing to answer whatever questions you may have. And, despite being an amateur at this, amateur at best, despite having no idea what I'm doing, I like to think that this was still a learning experience, and I'm happy to some extent with the final result. So that's about it. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Fallen Kenobi, out.